Hello, dearest friends. It is time for a story, a continuation of a story, a Neckbeard story, a part 2, which would be why I called it a continuation. I'm good. How are you? Anyway, this is from Reddit user Emerald Aussie. This is The Ballad of Squirrel, part 2, The Tale of the Legbeard. Got a little dramatic with that one. I hope you enjoy that. That's why they pay me the big bucks. It's not true, they don't pay me. But anyway, let's read this story. Okay, I didn't feel I left you with much in the intro, so I bring you part 2. Year 2 of high school, for me. This is a very important part of the story, although it focuses more on a legbeard than our neckbeard. Both are completely fun topics here. It's quite a long bit. The events in this story set the stage for the next 13 years. You should read part 1 if you have not. I did. That's just an intro, but it sets up the story. Anyway, here's our cast. OP, myself, 15-year-old Year 2 high school student, trusting, naive, abused, and in need of love from any source. Avid writer and fan of creative writing classes. Local singer and high school journalist. In love with SB. SB, a 17-year-old Year 4 student, planning on going to Japan after graduation because his love of anime, manga, and all things Japanese had become an obsession. Did he also own a katana? Did he learn Japanese from anime? Crazy Beard, CB, the legbeard in this saga. She too is 17 and a Year 4 student at the time. She was in my creative writing class and, I thought, a close friend. Step Monster, my stepmother that was generally a monster to me. Oh, I feel that. But in this tale, she was my savior. It was a rare moment, but also nice. Biological father. My biological father. Abusive asshole that saw me as something to control. Not a person, not my dad. I have a wonderful dad, R.I.P. That was not this man. And with that, dear reader, let us begin this tale. By Year 2, I had quit band, as had SB. I started taking voice lessons and performing at local malls. At school, I wrote for the school newspaper. The two brightest spots of my day were journalism class and creative writing. It was in creative writing that this girl sat next to me. She was short, although to be fair, I'm 5'7", so I'm taller than a lot of people, had long brown hair, a naturally tan complexion, and was very thin. She seemed sweet. I wouldn't know until later how fucking batshit crazy she was. Well, there's a fucking intro. This was Crazy Beard. CB started talking to me, and I was so lonely and attention-starved that I ate up anyone talking to me. To put this in perspective, I didn't even have a lunch table to sit at. I hid in the doorway of my creative writing classroom during lunch. Ow. I also had an eating disorder at this time because BF needed me to be a trophy daughter when we went to events for his job, so I had to look good. Wow, what a fucking douchebag. I guess this would be a good time to tell you how I looked then. Like I said, I'm 5'7", which is tall, at least from where I'm from. I had long blonde hair, blue eyes, and the palest skin you can imagine. I had a skin cancer scare at 12, so I pretty much avoid the sun in general. Holy shit. I've always struggled with my weight, but at that point in my life, I was a healthy weight. That was in no way good enough for my biological father. I was constantly told that I was fat and needed to lose weight. Again, he sounds like a fucking douchebag. It didn't matter how little I ate or how much I worked out, I was never good enough for him. So you can see where my insecurity came from. Mix all of that pressure with a 15-year-old mind, and I saw myself as some giant freak that was unworthy of affection, although that's all I wanted. Yeah, I could definitely see how that could fuck you up. I never even met your dad. Sorry, biological father, and I don't fucking like him. I'm sure your dad was fantastic, though. Which brings us back to CB. When she started talking to me, I jumped at the chance to be her friend. In my mind, this petite, pretty girl wanted to befriend a giant monstrosity like me. I was over the moon. It got to a point where I counted the minutes until creative writing class because it was nice just to have someone to talk to. This went on for several weeks, and I thought I may actually be making a best friend. Then after class one day, she told me her boyfriend was coming to meet up with her, and she wanted me to meet him. The bell rang, and I waited for her. I was looking the other direction when her voice caught my attention. "Oh, P, I want you to meet my boyfriend, SB," she said. I turned around and looked, stunned. "Nice to meet you," SB said, playing along as if he had never met me. Why? Now I was really stunned. In hindsight, there was no way that CB didn't know he knew me, and I very highly doubt she was unaware of my feelings for him. Our school was not that big, and it wasn't a secret. I think she had crafted this moment to make a point of letting me know to back off. At the time, I was naive and in shock, so I just went with it and said, "Likewise, I should go," and ran off. Jeez, poor kid. I went home and cried. I was pretty broken up about my friend dating the love of my life. It feels gross to say that now because he was so not the love of my life, but 15-year-old girls are dumb. I found SB before school the next day and confronted him. "Why did you act like you didn't know me?" I asked. "CB introduced us and it caught me off guard. I didn't know what else to say." "Really? How about, yeah, we're friends?" I asked. "CB gets jealous and this is new, but if she thinks we're friends because of her, then it'll be cool," he reasoned. I didn't like it, but I would also do anything to make SB happy, so I relented. "Fine. The three of us can be friends," he assured me. "Okay," I reluctantly agreed. But after that, CB went out of her way to hang out with me outside class and always had SB with her. She would come see me in my doorway hiding spot like I was some pathetic wounded bird that she was mothering back to health. At the time, I thought it was so sweet that CB and SB cared about me so much, and that maybe I finally had some friends. This went on for a couple of months, and I started hearing rumors. High school kids talk. A lot. As any person that had been through the horror of high school can attest to. The current rumor was that SB was going to break up with CB for me. I tried really hard not to think too much about it because rumors and just that. Rumors. CB, on the other hand, took these rumors to heart. It was a Friday, and CB and I were sitting in creative writing in front of our computers. She looked really freaked out. "Are you okay?" I asked. "Not really." "Well, what's wrong?" "I can't." "You could tell me. I promise, CB. Whatever it is, you can talk to me." Words I would regret in mere moments. "I can't say it, but I can type it." This is getting really dramatic. She opened Microsoft Word and typing on a new document. "I'm late. Oh no. Here we go." "Late? You were on time today." Like I said, I was painfully naive. "No. Late," CB said. It took me thinking about it for a good 30 seconds to process what she was saying. "Whoa, wait, you mean, I don't know, maybe," she said, looking more panicked. I could not wrap my head around this. I was 15, and my 17-year-old friend was possibly pregnant by my 17-year-old love interest. Pretty sure that's the name of a Wattpad fanfiction somewhere. I added that part. I love you, OP. What the actual fuck was my life? That's a question I ask myself every day. After class, I asked her how this had happened. She told me that she had taken SB's virginity in one of the school bathrooms one day, and that only happened once. Both then and to this day, the idea of sex in a school bathroom seems so gross. Yeah. Ew. I was floored. Believe it or not, at 15, sex was not something I thought about much. Don't get me wrong, it was on my radar, and self-satisfaction was certainly a thing, but the idea of actually doing it with a boy was so far from my mind. I was in no way ready to even think about doing it. All weekend I tried to reconcile in my mind the boy I knew with the boy that had actually gotten my friend pregnant. On Monday, CB confirmed to me that she was pregnant, and SB started avoiding me like the plague. To be honest, most of the next couple of weeks are a blur that's been lost to time and trauma. I remember little things like CB showing up at school with a sonogram and holding her stomach a lot. I remember seeing SB a couple of times and him saying he wanted CB to terminate, but she wouldn't, and he didn't know what this meant for him because he had yet to tell his parents. Then came the fallout. A few weeks after CB's announcement, she came to class crying. I asked her what was wrong. She told me SB was being sent away that day. I was in disbelief as she relayed the story. Turns out he finally told his parents about the baby, and they lost their shit. His dad was always moving to a city about 6 hours away for work, but the plan had been to let SB stay behind and graduate. When they found out CB was pregnant, that went out the window, and they were forcing SB to leave school and move right away so he could get a job to take care of the baby. And CB was very upset. I felt like I was in a fog the rest of the day. Remember, I'm still in love with SB at this point, and he was leaving, just like that. I hoped that he would find me to explain what was going on, but he never did. He never said goodbye. I saw him saying goodbye to some other friends, and I froze, unable to go over to him as I watched him walk away. I went home in true dramatic teenage girl fashion. I fell to the floor sobbing. This was a lot to take in. My stepmother actually came and sat with me on the floor and held me when I cried. This was one of a handful of times she was actually very nice to me. Usually she just tormented me for not being a Christian. Oh. Fun. To this day, I do appreciate that she was actually there. Over the next few weeks, I tried to be there for CB because, according to her, she was all alone and SB had broken up with her and was going to try and take full custody of the child. She said he was never going to let her see the baby. Then one day, she said she had a miscarriage. But the next day, she said that was a lie because she didn't want SB to take the baby. I believed each version of this story she fed me. Like I said, naive idiot girl. It had been about a month since SB left when he came back to see CB about the child. I wasn't here for this, but I heard all about it later. SB shows up at CB's work. Evidently, when she saw him, she freaked out and ran to the bathroom. When she came out, she had a very unconvincing baby bump. What? He reached up her shirt and pulled out a wad of toilet paper. She had never been pregnant. Turns out that while they had sex in the school bathroom, ew, she had not gotten pregnant. She told him she was and blackmailed him into sleeping with her pretty much every day so she could get pregnant, but she never did. She told him if he didn't have sex with her, she would tell his parents about the baby. So he did. She told him if he broke up with her, she would tell his parents. Finally, he got sick of it and told his parents himself. That was when he got sent away, and after all the blackmail, he realized how insane she was, and that was why he was threatening to go for custody of the quote-unquote baby. Some friends of his that he had kept in touch with told him that CB's baby bump tended to come and go, so he came to confront her, and that was when he showed up at her workplace. After that, CB was pulled out of school, and I never saw her again. I didn't talk to her about 10 years after that. She's married with some kids and seemed to think everything that happened in high school is childish antics because, yeah, every teenage girl fakes a pregnancy to keep a boyfriend? ?
Wow, what an asshole.
This should have been the end of the story. I should have let it die and never talked to SB again after this. But I was in love and he was my soulmate. Gag. So, dear reader, the story does not end here. Actually, it's just getting started. Because you see, what CB did to SB would allow him to justify the way he treated girls going forward, including myself. Stay tuned for part 3, in which we finish my high school years and move into adulthood, where I'm older, but no wiser. Wow. Just fucking wow, dude. I don't even know what to say. You have an interesting life, I will give you that. This is only part 2. I was not expecting the whole fake baby end of fucking relationship. That was definitely something. Holy fucking shit, dude. Yeah, no, when you were like, hey, this part's gonna focus on the Neckbeard, probably won't be as interesting. No, I'd say it's pretty fucking interesting. I'd say it hits all the right notes. Holy fuck, man. That is fucking wild. I really have no idea what to even say about that. Like, fucking hell, man. But on the same hand, the entire time you're telling me about life in high school, because I guess we're around the same age, this is giving me like weird flashbacks to my own times in high school. We didn't have anybody fake a pregnancy. Some of them were just real, though. Living in the South is fucking weird. And gross. It's actually kind of gross. Yeah? Yeah, a little bit. Anyway, if you enjoyed this, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, because holy shit, man. there's going to be a part 3. If you want to see this being done live, you can do that. On Monday nights, I stream recording these. And every weekend, I stream games and weird internet stuff we find. Some bad cooking, some wild shit like that. Just, the usual nonsense. If you like this show, and I certainly hope you do, you can support it by going to Ko-Fi and donating. Because like PBS, we're sponsored by viewers like you. And you're also awesome. I was going to say that you're cooler, but honestly, PBS is pretty damn cool. I'm going to be honest with you, so they got some good stuff on there. Anywho, I also have a merch store. It's like donating, except stuff, comes to you as well. So it's not like donating at all. That's not what that is. That's just a purchase. And if you have your own story, r/Moonhorse Stories, that's my subreddit. You can send me your story, and it might get made into a video. That's a thing. The links to all these things and many, many more are in the comments under this and every video, so check those out. There's even a thing if you want to send me weird stuff in the mail. I do that. I don't know why I do that, but I do it. Anyway, I love you all, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye, everybody.